The Delphi murders case shook a tight-knit community in Indiana to its very core. Two teenage best friends had their lives stolen from them in an entirely unprovoked and bizarre incident. Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This is the Prime Crime, where we discover and dissect solved and unsolved criminal cases around the world. Today's case takes place in a quiet and low-key farming community of Indiana, Delphi. The neighborhood is considered relatively safe and perfect for families with kids. However, this sense of safety was broken into pieces on Monday, February 13, 2017. But before we start, we would like to send our condolences to the people affected by the heinous acts committed by these individuals. Liberty German and Abigail Williams were best friends and understandably inseparable. Abigail, or Abby, was 13, and Liberty, or Libby, was 14, and they met in their Delphi Community Middle School. Both girls were full of life and had a keen interest in music, art, and sports. Both Abby and Libby played saxophone and softball together, and these are the activities they bonded over. Libby was known to be the more extroverted and outgoing one in the pair, whereas Abby was relatively shy and sheltered. Like any other teenager, Abby and Libby loved spending time on social media, and were obsessed with clicking and uploading pictures on Snapchat. On the sunny Monday morning of February 13th, both girls had an unexpected off from school. Having spent the previous day drawing and painting in the house, both girls wanted to spend some time outdoors. They asked their parents if they could go to the Handwritten Bridge, not far from their home, to click some beautiful sunset pictures. The parents agreed. Handwritten Bridge is a decommissioned railroad bridge that locals frequently stopped at in between their hiking adventures. As safe as Delphi was, it wasn't ideal for two young girls to stroll by the secluded trail all by themselves. After some discussions and pick-up-drop arrangements, it was decided that the girls will be driven to the bridge by Kelsey and picked up by Derek German, Libby's father. So, Libby's sister, Kelsey German, dropped the girls off at 1:35 p.m. at the Handwritten Bridge trail, and they were supposed to be given a ride home by Libby's father, Derek, at 3:30 p.m. At 2:07 p.m., Libby shared a picture of Abby on the bridge. The picture showed Abby relaxed as she walked and posed on the bridge. Abby showed no signs of distress or discomfort, indicating that the tragic fate struck them after 2:07 p.m. She also saved a video of a man walking toward them, which later went viral. The video actually led to a lot of mayhem and false accusations in the aftermath of the incident. As 3:30 rolled around, Derek couldn't see any sign of the duo. He tried calling Libby multiple times, but the calls were unanswered. By 4:30 that evening, the families were out looking for the girls themselves. Their main train of thought was that the girls must have dropped their phones or lost their way into the woods. However, this positive outlook was wearing thin by the minute. At some point during the evening, Libby's grandparents got the Indiana State Police involved, and all of them were looking for the pair together. However, around midnight, the search was called off due to bad weather and harsh terrain. By the following morning, the entire community came together to look for the missing teenage best friends. There were divers looking through the Deer Creek, and even a canine unit was brought in to speed up the search. Not long after, a searcher found a shoe underneath the bridge, which was later identified as belonging to either of the girls. Everybody's heart sank when a searcher located two bodies nearly half a mile away from the Handwritten Bridge. The bodies were later confirmed to be that of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The community was shaken, and the families were devastated. Nobody could explain why someone would want to harm two young girls without any motive. Police were desperately looking for leads, but they weren't getting anywhere. While going through Liberty's phone and social media, they discovered the video saved by her on her Snapchat. By February 15th, the video was released to the public in hopes of some leads, but all the leads met a dead end. On the 19th of February, police announced that the man in the video is their prime suspect in the Delphi murder case. Around the same time, police also released the audio of the previously released video recording.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
The man can be heard saying,
Guys. Downhill.
seemingly subduing the teenagers. It's important to mention that unofficial sources believe there's a lot of digital data relevant to this case on Libby's phone that hasn't been released to the public, presumably to build a case. Here's our analysis of the bridge guy suspect, based on the 2 seconds video released to the public. The man is Caucasian, around 5 feet 9 to 5 feet 11, and of stocky build, weighing around 200 to 210 pounds. He can be seen wearing a dark blue jacket over some sort of flannel shirt and light blue jeans. He likely has both his hands in his pocket, with his left hand being slightly lower than his right, suggesting he might be holding onto something with his right hand. His tone in the audio sounds really authoritative as well. Vigils were held in honor of the young girls, and the entire Delphi community was mourning. It's unfathomable how 2 girls who had their entire life ahead of them can meet such a tragic fate. On June 2017, police released a composite sketch based on the video made by Libby in her last minutes, and a few passerby testimonies as well. For the next 2 years, the case remained pretty much stagnant. That was until the 22nd of April 2019, when Indiana State Police released a revised sketch of their lead suspect. Noticeably, the revised sketch was completely different from the one released in 2017. It is an ongoing theory that the murderer is likely a Delphi local or is very familiar with the area, based on his supposed entrance and exit points. For the next 3 years, the case went cold again. But surprisingly, there's been an update in the case just 2 weeks ago. On October 26, 2022, Indiana State Police arrested 50-year-old Richard M. Allen, a local of Whiteman Drive, on 2 counts of murder in the Delphi double homicide. Whiteman Drive is a residential neighborhood in Delphi, where Richard owned a house since 2006 and lived with his wife Kathy Allen. Note that Richard's residence was less than a mile away from Abby and Libby's school, and less than 3 miles away from the Monon High Bridge, where the bodies of the teenage girls were located. The Delphi community is taken aback by the arrest of Richard Allen, especially since the man has no criminal history apart from 2 speeding tickets. It is believed that, at the time of the double homicide, Richard was employed at the local CVS, where at one point, he helped the family print out pictures of Abby and Libby for their funeral. It is alleged that the man refused to take any money for the printouts. This is what makes this case really twisted and sinister. It is likely that Abby and Libby's parents made contact with their beloved daughter's killer just days after their brutal murder. Unfortunately, additional case details are sealed by the court, and for now, all we know is that Richard Allen is being held in a high-security setup without a bond and is scheduled for case proceedings on the 20th of March 2023. Currently, he is asking the court for a public defender since he can't afford an attorney. He has been writing appeals for the same. Here's a transcript of the letter he recently sent, pleading for a public defender.
I hereby throw myself at the mercy of the court. I am begging to be provided with legal assistance and public defender or whatever help is available. At my initial hearing on October 28, 2022, I asked to find representation for myself. However, at the time, I had no clue how expensive it would be just to talk to someone. I also did not realize what my wife and I's immediate financial situation was going to be. We have both been forced to immediately abandon employment. Myself due to incarceration, and my wife for her personal safety. Again, I throw myself at the mercy of the court. Please provide me with whatever assistance you may.
This case is both frightening and interesting at the same time. To think that two young girls can be brutally murdered in broad daylight really makes us question the sinister nature of the world we are living in. You would think that in this day and age, it would be easy to find a killer, especially when you most likely have them on video, but that's what's frustrating about this case. Hopefully, a lot more details will be made available to the public in the months leading up to the trial. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for updates on this case and for your daily dose of solved and unsolved criminal cases. Also, please like the video. That lets YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching.